Hey, everybody, and welcome back to Digital Doc Games, where we explore how games help us connect, grow, and heal. Today, I am very excited to be joined by trustee at mental health charity Safe in Our World and veteran in the health tech industry, Matt Murphy. How's it going, Matt?
I'm all right, thanks, Amiad. Very good. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. It's really nice to have you on. I've been looking forward to this episode for a very long time.
Great. Me too. Yeah, me too. I'm not sure about being called a veteran now. Or maybe I am. Yeah, maybe I'm a veteran in these circles. Yeah.
you know, I think I was looking at your background and we were talking a little bit, and I think veteran is a fitting title. I mean,
Yeah,
we were
maybe. Yeah.
we were talking a little bit about before we started recording. Um, I wasn't expecting when we first started talking to set up the interview. I thought we would clearly be talking about safe in our world, but I really wasn't expecting the overlap that we both have in our professional
Mm,
lives of that intersection between health and leading into working in games. So I'm
yeah.
excited to talk about that.
Yeah. Great. Yeah. I mean, it is. It's uncanny actually when you were describing your background and sort of your purpose. There's quite a lot of similarity. So I've been in the games industry for just over 3 years now, and I moved across from a healthcare technology. So in the UK, in the sort of previous 10, 11 years, I was running healthcare technology businesses, primarily a business called EMIS. And, we looked after 40 million patient records in all kinds of care settings. We also did a lot of patient engagement, and we ran patient.info, which was big patient portals. When I transferred over to the games industry, which was really excited about, I was keen to hopefully find a way to bridge the two industries because they were both clearly real strong sectors in the UK, healthcare and video games. And I thought there's got to be a way, maybe in a small way, I can get involved in trying to link those two together. And I thought there was sort of a quid pro quo. There's lots of creativity and problem solving in the games industry that would be really welcome in the digital healthcare space,
Right, right.
particularly around sort of engaging with patients and users or consumers. There's arguably there's no better sector at doing that than the video games industry.
Right.
And in reverse, maybe the quid pro quo was that the healthcare industry could help the games industry with being a sort of real stellar sector in how it treats its employees, how it can influence its gaming communities. Um, so I wanted to, I was sort of, passively trying to find some kind of angle to link the two together. And we were on a trade mission to China with UKI, which is the UK Trade Association for our industry. And I met a chap called Leo Zullo, who
Hmm.
is the managing director of Wired Productions, which is a games publisher in the UK. And he was in the process of setting up Safe in Our World, and we got over a beer. We got into a conversation about mental health, and that we're both passionate about that subject. Um, and that's how I got involved. Really, I wanted to be part of that. I thought I could hopefully bring something to the party.
Right.
So I became a trustee, and we launched in 2019. So September, October time,
Yeah. And
2019.
and here we are. That's
Yeah.
really really exciting. I'm excited. I'm really looking forward to diving into that and more. Covering what is safe in our world, what does safe in our world do, hearing a little bit more about that story in China with Leo and how that idea came to be. So we're going to get into all of that because this is, like I said, Digital Doc interviews where we talk to the people using video games to help have a positive impact on the world, people like Matt. If you like what we are doing here, please go ahead and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and make sure to keep coming back every week for more content. So, Matt, I'd love to start just at the very top level for anyone who doesn't know what is Safe in Our World.
So it's a mental health charity that's focused solely on the games industry. It was founded by a group of that use the V words again, veterans from the games industry actually that have been around for some time, that also collectively have a passion for mental health. And so it started out with Leo Zullo says, the managing director of Wired, and Gareth and Neil, who are also colleagues of Leo's and have been around the games industry for years. As an industry, felt that we could do more for the people, and then ultimately the real influence that the thousands of people who work in the games industry can have on the millions of players out there. And so I thought, well, if there's a positive influence we can have in this world, then let's do something about it, and let's create a movement that
Wow.
can bring a sort of positive spin on games and a positive influence on those people that work in that industry or play those games. So it was as simple as that, really. And it's the simplicity, I think, of the purpose which really attracts people to it. And we don't have any overly sort of grand ambitions in a sense, other than we're trying to have a really positive influence on the world, and we're trying to create safe environments for people to work on games and people to play inside games. When we started out, we really set ourselves some objectives and thought, how can we do this in a way that's realistic? Where do we start? Because none of us had ever established a charity. None of us really. I think Gina, one of the trustees, Gina Jackson, she's got backgrounds in Games Aid and a few other sort of charities, but none of us had really had a real full-time role in a charity. So we were learning as we went along, and we wanted to start significantly by doing a lot of signposting for people in the industry. So we broke it out into, what can we do for those people that work in the industry, and what can we do for the people that sort of are influenced by the industry, so players and influencers and online communities. And so we started really with the industry side. When we launched, we built up an online resource, a website that contains loads of case studies and signposting to well-established resources for particular mental health conditions. We wrote blogs and tailored the content particularly to gamers and the kinds of challenges that they might face, and the kind of conditions that maybe that would be more common amongst that kind of audience. And we wanted people to feel that they weren't on their own, give them a way to connect, because we quite quickly came to realize that the games industry does have a family feel about it. It isn't a huge employer in relation to some other sectors, for example, but it's very close, and it's extremely passionate about what it does. But even within that, it's very easy to feel isolated in the sector, and equally, it is easy to feel isolated when you're out playing, within online communities, whilst you are engaging and communicating a lot. You don't necessarily have people you can lean on to support you. So we felt that the charity could play an important role in that, in terms of being available as a resource and being there for people.
So Matt, that was really interesting to hear. And I think I love the point you made about the connectivity in games. And, it's almost that aspect of games is why games are so different than other types of entertainment medium.
Yeah.
And with that connection that you can, make with either other players, when you're playing online, or if you're talking about games, on social media, like you said, it's very easy to, it's very vulnerable, right?
Yeah.
You're putting yourself out there. And I think for that reason, Safe in Our World is such a great resource for gamers to go to be able to, like you said, connect and bring that part of the conversation to the focus, bring the mental health in focus.
Yeah, that's a
Um,
really good
but
point,
I'd like to
actually.
first, yeah, yeah, and I'd like to first talk about, because the other aspect, like you said, is the game developers.
Yeah.
And games, it's such an interesting industry to work in because it is such a passion project for so many people.
Mm,
I feel like most people, especially developers, don't really fall into games. That it's usually something that they really push for, what they dream for. And traditionally, right, there's some problems that come from that when you get into issues such as crunch, and mental health working within the games industry. So, how does Safe in Our World aim to position yourselves to help developers with issues such as that, to raise
okay.
awareness of mental
Yeah.
health
So
within the.
it's really good point, and I think it's something I've observed in the sort of 3 years I've been in this sector compared to say the previous 10 in another one. Much like actually in healthcare, the sector is full of people who are passionate about what they do, and it's a calling to work in this space, which can mean that the line between work and home can be blurred. Um, and so it can mean that a job can become all consuming because you love it so much, because you actually
Right.
enjoy it. Um, and so that can bring with it lots of stresses. And for employees, we quite quickly, one of the early initiatives we worked on is we spoke to a charity in the UK called Rethink Mental Illness, and they're a well-established mental health charity. And we worked with them to co-develop what's called a mental health employers training toolkit. So it's a free resource that is available by the Safe in Our World website. And what we do is it gives you a guide for as an employer for how to create a safe environment and a positive environment for all of your employees. And it's relevant whether you've got 5 members of staff or 5,000. It doesn't really matter. There's different stages of implementation. We can support you with implementation. Rethink can support you with implementation. But it just gives you a sense of best practice, good things to do, how to deal with specific environments. Alongside that, we established some training with Rethink. So Rethink created some courses specifically around things like mental health first aid. We also worked with a games industry specific trainer called Mind Fitness Training to create
Hmm.
some mental health training courses that were bespoke to our industry. There's a lot of things that are already out there. So, we're not necessarily reinventing the wheel. We're looking at really
Right.
strong content. We've got clinicians on board as ambassadors and patrons. Our next step is to create a clinical advisory board, which we're just recruiting to at the moment, which will sort of peer review any content that we've got that requires it. One of the interesting developments, actually, when we were looking at the training, we started to get feedback um, and inquiries on training from within the industry, and we did a campaign called Level Up Mental Health, which we launched in May this year, which was about
Right.
it's like an industry pledge where we wanted industry um, employers to commit to taking mental health seriously within their organizations. Lots of them already do. It was about making the pledge and committing to do something, and hoping that we build momentum and create a wave of sort of enthusiasm and passion for this subject. And we have people like Embracer Group and 505 Games sign up to that, along with a whole host of others. And as part of that, we embedded the toolkit for employers, so something practical they could use, training that they could offer to their teams, whether that's mental health awareness for managers, mental health first aid training, mental health mind fitness training for publishers, that kind of thing. And we started to get inquiries from influencers and online um, gamers. And what we realized is actually those guys don't have anybody. So they do work within the ecosystem of games. They do work within the space, but actually they may have huge networks of contacts and they'd be incredibly well connected people.
Hmm.
But as it like an employee, in effect, they don't have an HR department to go to. They don't have a line manager to go to. And they felt, some of them were coming to us and saying, can we be part of this? Because, we don't have anywhere. We struggle, a lot with
Right, right.
mental health and challenges. They're really at the coal face of all of that, with connectivity, and they needed support. So we've committed to creating a Mind Fitness for, specifically for that audience.
So let's talk about games for a little bit. Well, first of all, Matt, do you play games?
I do, yeah. I mean, I'm an old school gamer, to be honest. I mean, I noticed I've got this. I don't know whether you can see that. That's my.
I love it.
That's where I started. I started out in the '80s with my. I think I had even a 16K ZX Spectrum first, which I then upgraded to 48K, and so I was a big sort of '80s gamer back in the day. In the days of I talked to my team about we used to have tape recorders because I am a lot older than some of those guys, and telling them about some of the hacks they used to have on the games. Everything was keyboard driven. There was no mouse, no controllers. It was, dodgy old keyboards. And they used to
Right,
do things. There was a game that they always laugh at me. There was a game called Checkered Flag, which was a driving game. And the keys were sort of in the middle. I think it was like 5, 6, and 7 or something with the keys for steering. And it used to be on the pack, it said, have you ever thought about getting a roll of sellotape and using it as a steering wheel on the keyboard? I mean, that was sort of what state. This
how
was in
far
the
we've come,
mid,
right?
how far we've come. Yeah. So this was like the mid '80s. And then I sort of lost, in all honesty, I fell out of touch with it for a long period, because I didn't upgrade. I didn't get into consoles really that
Right.
much. Um, and I'm trying to get my elder son into games. Only 5. I'm trying to
Yeah,
get him into it. We've got a PlayStation and we play a little bit of that, and I do a little bit of PC gaming. But I love the industry. I love the language. I love the narrative of it. I love talking about it, even though I don't have a lot of hours that I can commit to
sure.
playing. Um,
Right.
but
Well, another
I
really
like it.
interesting thing that Safe in Our World has on their website, which everyone should go check out. We'll
Yeah.
put the link to the website in the description below.
Yeah.
But Safe in Our World has a fantastic curated games, a list of games that in some way or another either have to do with the subject of mental health or maybe would be a positive mental health experience by playing the game. So absolutely go check those out. Little, inside baseball knowledge for anyone who's a viewer of this channel. That is, right now we've had, let's see, our first impact review we did was for the game Kind Words. And I found out through that game through Safe in Our World's list there. So I'm going to be working my way through that list. Matt, any games that come to mind as favorites of yours in regards to the positive effect it's had either on your mental health or just in general?
I think, yeah, I mean, from a Safe in Our World point of view, the story started with a bit with Fractured Minds and Emily Mitchell, who's she won a Young Game Designer BAFTA award, and for Fractured Mind that she designed in teenage years. I think she's 20 now, maybe 21,
Mm-hmm.
and that's a fantastic achievement for one so young. If you don't know the games, you check it out. It's a um, every sort of stage, every room reflects a different mental health condition, and so it really is sort of an immersive game in that sense, and it's
Right.
it's it's brilliantly creative of Emily to have done that. And we released that game um, under the sort of Safe in Our World sort of associated banner. It's actually Wired that publish it, but Proceeds go towards the charity, and that's been fabulous. It's part of Game Pass, and so that's brilliant. I mean, I tend to enjoy games, that help you to relax. So like daft games like Human Fall Flat, and that are real fun, that can
Yeah.
sort of take you away from the stresses and strains uh, of of modern day life, really. And I know the latest in that kind of genre, Fall Guys, is like, it's just
Yeah.
an
Yeah.
incredible phenomenon these days. But I really get that. I really understand it, and I really see the movement. And I think at that, because it's fun, isn't it? It's positivity, it's engagement, and it's to me, that's what I think is incredibly powerful. I mean, it must be incredibly inspiring if you're a developer and you hear the impact that you can have
Yeah.
um, on people's lives. I mean, it just must be the best feedback you can possibly get, that something you've created has had such a profound impact on somebody's life. So, yeah, I mean, I suppose amongst the other trustees, there'll be some, you know, brilliant stories of how games have touched their lives and helped them. You can see all of that on the website. But what about you? I mean, what would you say?
Ooh.
What do you?
Um, a game for me. Oh man, I should have had an answer before I turned the question on you.
No, well, what do you enjoy? What helps you escape? I mean, you've got young children. What helps you
Yeah,
to?
yeah. I mean, video games, going back to when I first got my first console, which was a PlayStation 3. I think I was 13 years old. They've always been, even before that. I mean, I have so many positive memories of playing PC games with my brother. I talk
Mm,
about, the first game that really pulled me in was Star Wars Jedi Outcast 2.
right.
And I remember we were getting a gift, like a holiday gift from my parents. And my brother, who's I'm the youngest, so my older brother tried to convince me. We had an old Game Informer magazine that the cover article was Jedi Outcast, and he was showing me. He's like, okay, we have to go in together on the present, so it could be a big, I don't know, $50 present, and we'll play this game together. And he said, I'll do the movement and you'll do the force powers. So that's what we did every morning. We woke up before school, like 6 a.m., and he did all the moving and the jumping and the lightsabers. And I had control of just the F1 through F12 keys and was just force
Brilliant.
pushing, force pulling, and that was really like my first, like, that was what got me hooked, in that
Yeah.
shared bond I have with him because of that. And from then it just kind of continued to grow. I mean, so many
You see, that's
games.
an awesome story, isn't it? That's what it's about, and that's the positive side of games, whether it's social interaction in the same room or increasingly, over the
Sure,
internet and in
sure.
social forums. So that's all positive. It's just, if it sometimes, and it can flip over the wrong side, then we just need to be there for people, and give them ways to help each other and help themselves.
Right, right. That's awesome. I would love to do an episode on Digital Doc Games, of just getting as many people on a Zoom chat as possible and going one by one and just hearing their stories of
Yeah.
of their favorite video game moments. And
Yeah, I
we'll
mean, I know some people would be brilliant at that kind of thing, and some of our much, maybe way more embedded in the games industry than I am, and
right,
big, much more avid gamers. But they've got some fantastic stories. But that would be
right,
a great thing to do, wouldn't it? You could do it because everyone wants to hear it. They're great stories, every single one of them, because you get a little window into somebody's life, and often into their childhood or their younger life, and you hear, like you did, the chemistry with your brother. And I've now got a picture of you two playing together. You know, it's just great, that kind of interaction.
right.
It's very, very vivid.
Yeah. Oh man, I could go on and on, but I know that you do have somewhere to be. You're an important guy. So I'll let you go. But Matt, thank you so much for coming on. I loved, talking to you and hearing more about Safe in Our World. If people want to learn more about Safe in Our World, if people want to even get involved or support Safe in Our World, what's the best way for them to do that?
Go to the website. It's safeinourworld.org. If you go there, or you can email hello@safeinourworld.com. But the website is safeinourworld.org. You'll see there's lots of resources on there. Like we say, there's some of the games that we're linked to. You can see some of the initiatives like the Level Up Mental Health, which has got the toolkit and the training resources, those
Right.
kind of things. And if you want to get involved, we're always looking for ambassadors and patrons. So if anybody's really passionate about it, then reach out and go to the website. You can contact us there. You can
Yeah,
follow us
and
on all social media as well.
yeah, I was gonna say your social media,
Yeah,
Jake
we're on
running your
everything.
social is doing a great
Yeah.
job. You guys always put out really nice posts about the power of games. So go check that out. And for everything positivity in games, keep it here at Digital Doc Games. Help my mental health and give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. And thank you so much for coming along to watch. It means so much to me. And until next time, game on.